Hi everyone, Dawn Fisher, Morning Glory Needleworks. I wanted to say welcome as always to my 50th, I can't even believe it, FlossTube video. As always, thank you to everybody who subscribed, commented, liked my channel. In my little intro blurb, all my links are in the comments section, the description, which will be underneath or next to the video, depending on how you're watching it. I also break my videos into chapters. So if you just want to come back and watch one section of the video, you can do that. The chapters will be listed. I think this one's going to have like 5 chapters, and there'll be a timestamp next to the chapter. So you can just click on that and it will take you directly to the area you want to watch. But I hope you will watch the whole video, of course. Also, the links are in that description comments section. There's links to my Etsy shop, Instagram, Stitch of the Month Facebook group, Morning Glory Needleworks Facebook group, Buy Me a Coffee, bio.link, which actually has all these links in it. And I don't think I'll have any other links today, but if I talk about something interesting, I will give you a link to get to that area or that website. So it's a 15th of January, 2024, and I have a lot of fun things to talk about. I'm really excited about all of them. So let's get started. Okay, a lot of good things have been going on. I'm very excited. I've been going to a lot of local stitch-ins and having a great time, of course. I've been stitching with some of these people for, I don't know, over 25 years. I've known them, and it's so good to get to see them, whenever we get together. It's like old home week. And but other people I've just met. I just met some new people at a recent stitch in a couple of days ago, and I'm hoping, to become good friends with them also, stitching friends, and maybe more. So on the 24th of January, which isn't too far away, I'm going to be leaving for a retreat in Fort Walton Beach, Florida. And I'm in St. Petersburg, so it's 6.5, 7 hour drive. So it's going to be a long drive, but I'm very excited. It's the first time I'll be attending this retreat. It's in the panhandle of Florida, and I actually just found out it's actually in a different time zone than us. So anyway, I'm really excited to a lot of my friends are going, my stitching friends, but there'll be a lot of new people there too. So I'm really excited. I love meeting new people, new stitchers, sharing Morning Glory Needleworks with them. And because I will be set up as a vendor there. So I'm looking, forward to that, showing my designs. And I may bring a few teaching pieces just because there will be a lot of new people that I don't know. And if they're in other guilds, um, they can see some of my teaching pieces. So it'll be fun. So I don't know what I'm going to work on while I'm there, but I've got a couple of ideas. This retreat's a little different. It's some of them you go to them and it's all a class the whole time you're there, and other times you're just stitching. This is kind of a combination of both. So the first day we're there, Karen Kluba of Rosewood Manor is going to come in and visit us. She's going to bring some of her sampler books and some other things. And what we're going to do is each table group of people is going to work together to create a portion of a unique sampler that she's going to create for us. Um, we'll have a book of motifs. We'll have some color choices, and the group will decide and vote on what they want in the sampler, and then we'll give her all of our ideas. That'll be the first day, which will be Thursday. And then Karen will go home and create a sampler for us, for our group. And then so she's going to return on Saturday, and everybody will get a copy of the finished design so that we can create, that we can go home and stitch. So as a designer, I'm really excited to see how this process will work and the resulting design. I don't take a lot of classes because I have so much stuff. Unless it's something really new or just really fun, I don't take a lot of classes. I take, if I do, it's usually more of a lecture class so I can learn more about, just learn more about needlework. So this really, sounded intriguing to me. So I'm looking forward to that. And then after the next 2 days while we're there, the retreat is Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So the next 2 days, we're just going to be stitching. And of course, that evening, because you can stay in the stitching room till, I don't know, I think this one shuts down at 10 o'clock. Some of them you can 10 p.m. Some of them you can just stay all night if you want. And some people do. I don't. But so we're just going to be stitching. Like I said, I'll be vending and sharing some of my projects with everyone there. And I'm really excited because this is totally different. This is way out of my where I usually go. Usually the retreats I go to Jacksonville, which is the other northern side of the state. And I actually used to live in the Panhandle in Carabel, which is a very small town right on the Carabel River. It's close to Apalachicola, East Point. There's not a lot of big cities around there, but I haven't been up in that area in many years. So I'm looking forward to it. Not looking forward to the long drive, but my new to me, I have a GMC Terrain, is very comfortable. So I'm looking forward to my first long trip in my Terrain, which has heated seats, and I can't wait. And we actually need them right now because it's kind of cool here in Florida. I broke down and turned the heat on. I don't usually do that. It'd gotten down to 65, which is in the house, which isn't too bad. It was 50s outside, but it was just a little chilly, and I have old kitties. That's my excuse for turning on the heat. So I turned the heat up to, I think it's at 67 right now, just enough to take that chill off the air. So, but more exciting stuff. In February, I mentioned this before, I'm going to be teaching 2 classes for the Indian River chapter of EGA, which is near Melbourne, Florida, which is, I don't know, 3 hours, the other side of the state. It's kind of directly across the state from St. Petersburg. So I'm excited. I'm going to be teaching my button box class. This is the old style box and the new style box. So I'm going to be teaching that. That's a 1-day class. And remember, if you're interested in any of these classes, please contact me because I would love to come teach for you. And I do teach over Zoom. I have no problem teaching over Zoom. So if that saves the group money. I've taught classes in California from here in Florida, and I just taught it over Zoom, so they did not have to fly me out and all that other good stuff. It's also, it's good for me because I can stay home. I prefer to go, but I can also be home. The other project I'm teaching, this is my newest teaching piece. This is Alphabet of Stitches Redux, which means number 2, because I do have the original. This is the original Alphabet of Stitches, and then I made this as a companion piece to it. So this one is stitched with sulky threads, which I just got my invoice, so I know they're going to be shipping these to me soon. I have received the fabric for it. But there's a different stitch for every letter of the alphabet. So we have a CC, Brighton, Curtain, Diamond Straight, all of that. So you'll learn in 2 days, you'll learn all of these stitches. So I'm really excited about teaching this that'll be the first time I've taught it. So that is what I have going on. So And as an added bonus, it comes to find out my brother and his wife, I've told you before, they're traveling in their Airstream. They were in here in St. Petersburg for 2 weeks. Then they moved over to Melbourne, which is where I'm going to be. So they're going to be in Melbourne while I'm there. So that'll be fun. We're hoping to get together maybe for dinner one night or something, or maybe the day I get ready to leave, I can go over and see them or something. But it's funny because I've seen them more in the last probably month than, boy, my hair is kind of messy. It's driving me crazy. I've seen them more in the last month than probably in the last 5 years, which is great. I am loving this so much. They're actually coming to stay here with me again for a few days. They stayed, even though they were at the campground here, they came and spent Christmas Eve and Christmas Day with me, which was really nice. So they're actually coming. There's a huge RV show in Tampa this week. So they're coming because they're influencers, media. They're going to be over there for that show for a few days. So they're going to come stay here because it's too far to drive back and forth from Melbourne. So that's great. They should be here sometime this afternoon, and then they'll be here 1 or 2 more nights. So that's kind of fun. And plus, even better, I got to see both of my sisters, my brother-in-law, my mother, my niece, and her 2-year-old daughter, which I had not been able to see yet, other than, in pictures. So I got to see them over the holidays. So, for those of you that know, this is the first holiday alone without my husband. So it made it very enjoyable and easy to handle because I had my family all around me and got to see them many times over the holidays. So that really, that helped get through this first year by myself. I'm doing pretty well, and thank you to everybody who sent, thoughts, prayers, all that good stuff. I'm doing pretty well with everything. My stitching has really helped, and the people, my stitching friends and people. So on to the next. So in keeping with my plans, when I created this FlossTube, some of the things I planned to talk about were my antique needlework tools and collection, and my antique samplers, because I have a large collection of those also. So this is what I'm gonna, I brought these back in to the FlossTubes. So today I'm going to talk about some antique sewing boxes, sewing bags. These are just a few that are in my collection. So I'm going to share those with you now. So the first one I want to share, I actually bought this because it's so cute. Oops, the top is falling off. Obviously, it's very old. This is a little cardboard box. I don't know the age on it. I liked it because it had the kitties. It's in pretty rough shape. I know I did not pay much for it because I don't pay. It looks like there was a sticker. So here's the inside of it. It's kind of coming apart. I may have to, there's some silk threads in here that are kind of everywhere. So I may have to do a little repair on it. Here's the inside. There's a cute little shelf that's got, I don't know what these little wooden things are. There's maybe they're little legs. I don't know. Maybe they were on the bottom of the box, but there's these, there's a couple little teeny spools of thread, but this, I love the pink. It's just really cute. And then this is, see, the bottom is just cardboard. Just looking to see if there was anything on it. And then there's these wonderful little, they're kind of tangled, little spools of, these are JB Coates and Clark. It looks like silk. I'm not sure. It says boil fast. Here's one that has not even been opened yet, but they're very shiny. Boil fast, which I'm assuming means color fast, that they won't bleed. It's got 10 yards on it. These are probably the spools that came with it. I get the feeling there's a plastic one, and I get the feeling this plastic one was added later because there's a whole bunch of these wonderful threads, wooden spools, and very shiny, beautiful threads. So to me, it looks like silk threads. And there's a few more of these wooden discs. Like I said, I'm not quite sure what those are, but they were in the box. So I tend to leave things in the box. Now it looks to me like maybe they were glued on the sides here to hold this shelf up and just kind of fell off. But I may have to break down and try and figure out a way to repair this without doing more damage to it. Sometimes the repairs are worse than just leaving it the way it is. It usually sits in my closed cabinet, so it doesn't get a lot of handling. So this one, I'm gonna go over this one here later. This one was fun. I love this so much. I'm very into 50s, 60s retro. This is made by Atlantic Can Company, Delawana, New Jersey. But this is so much fun. You can see the it's got like gold on it, and then all these leaves which look like fabric. And then the top, get it the right way up. This is the top. Isn't this fabulous? I just love this with it's obviously it was made. It's not a cookie tin. This was made to be a sewing tin. So there's kind of fancy scissors here. There's a spool and thread with looks like a pin there. Whoops, kind of getting a reflection. This is a pin cushion. It's kind of flattened out. I don't know what was in there, but whatever it is, this kind of dissipated somehow. But there's a butterfly, a tape measure. You see, this is actually a tape measure here. That looks like maybe some buttons, but I fell in love with this. It's pink, which I love, and it's so 50s, 60s looking, so vintage, maybe 40s, I don't know. But it also has, and there's the inside of the lid. This is in really, really good shape, but it has all these wonderful old sewing accessories in it. Here's, this is really heavy. I wonder if this may be filled with sawdust. It's just a plain pin cushion. Here's another pin cushion. They're very hard. They, like I said, they may be filled with sawdust or something of that type. And then, of course, we have to have the tomato. This is a big tomato. It's very hard. So again, I feel like it's filled with sawdust or something to give it substance. Here's a tape measure on wrapped around a holder. Got more room here. We're just going to unwrap this. It does say something. Hold on, this is exciting. Let's see, I'm going to unwrap this. Okay, this is from Coast to Coast National Shirt Shops, Fash and Forms. That's kind of cool. I don't know if you can see that. Trying to get it to where you can see it. But anyway, it's Fash and Forms. So it's FASH-N-Forms. But I thought that was really cool. So anyway, with that, and then this just wraps around. But obviously they didn't, these were probably cheaper than the tape measures that zip in and out. It's also been stitched along the edge here. So there's that. Enough of that. And then there's just your usual sewing things, needles. Some of these are newer. These are J.P. Coates and Clark's, Lansdale Discount House. Something on my face there. 85 cents for the needles. Lots of hooks and eyes. Mercerized Deluxe John Wanamaker, Philadelphia. These are snaps. There's some black snaps from Grants. Weren't they I think they were like a Woolworths or something, Grants. Speaking of Woolworths, this is from Woolworths. A lot of hooks and eyes. They must use a lot of those. Oh, this is totally full of needles. This is gold-eyed sharps, size 1 to 5. These are made in England. This thing is heavy. It's full. I have not opened it up. Here's some nickel-plated stretched eye needles. I have a fuzzy wuzzy on my face from all this stuff in here. These are kind of cool. I just love stuff like this. Here's another brand Bant's Best Needles, Redditch, England. Crewel or embroidery needles. Oh, there's even a couple of them in there. Here's the side, and then there's the needles in there. 10 needles. It says number 3/9. So these are sizes 3 to 9. These are Millward's needles, made in England. Again, stretch eye. I may have showed that one a minute ago. I'm getting so confused. Oh no, I have two of these. These are Dosco. Your guarantee for celebrated needles not to cut in the eye. These are made in West Germany. And these are the nickel plated. There's also a bodkin in here, which is used to pull like ribbon or elastic through to put it in, so you can pull something tight. But anyway, I fell in love with this. I had to have it. I've had it for a few years, but I just wanted to show you the variety of bags. This is actually a very heavy, thick lid. And I get the feeling when you're stitching, because of the way this is, you could throw needles and pens and they would just sit in here, and then you could put them in your pin cushion. Now, this one, I love this one. I believe I bought this in Connecticut when I was up there one time with Sue Donnelly. So this is a sewing bag. And again, here's your ribbon. This is what you would use the bodkin for, to pull the ribbon through this. I think this actually should pull both sides. But anyway, so I'm going to open this up. I may have shown this one before. I can't remember. But there, get it to open up. This just pulls open. You see the top just kind of pulls apart so it opens up more. So I wanted to show, if I can do this, the inside has pockets for spools of thread. This kind of reminds me of those bun warmer that you can get, but this has pockets where you can put a spool of thread in. Okay, this has some sewing thread also. It doesn't say what it's made of. It says 5th Avenue Sewing Twist, 50 yards, wash colors. But again, it's a wooden spool, very shiny. That's what it makes me think it's silk. I mean, I have to move this because I'm hitting buttons on the computer here while I'm working, or while I'm showing you these things. This is a wonderful I think it was last time or time before, I showed some pin keeps. Well, this is a pin keep here. You can see there's a pin. There's actually black pins. I don't know if you can see them, but they're pushed into the side here. This says Eureka Silk, awarded at the Eureka Silk the best. I don't know, every spool warranted. Anyway, but it's probably a silk moth, I would say, because the silk comes from the cocoons of these moths. Here's another spool of this. Yes, this is Japan Silk Twist, 100 yards, best quality, it says. And it's beautiful. You can see the sheen to it. Just trying to find all the good stuff in here. There's lots of stuff. More, I believe this is also silk, but there's a lot of spools. Oh, purple. Isn't that pretty? That's a purple again, pure silk, made in the USA. Hemingway and Bartlett Silk Company. Paragon silk. Used for all rayon silk woolen. You can see what it says, but. And then, so there's other rolls of that. And here's some buttons. You got to have buttons in your sewing kit. This is, I have not heard of this, Star embroidery floss. Mercerized cotton, 9 yards, 6 strands, color fast 902. So that is that's the color number. Here's a glove darning that you would put this in the finger of the glove to darn holes. This is a very typical sewing box. Now this is very cool. These are 2 buttons and they're attached by a braided cord. What I'm thinking this is maybe a sweater that had holes and you would put this through either side to hold your sweater together. Not sure, but that's my general idea. Oh, and of course we have our tatting shuttle. This is, not sure what that is. It's very pretty though. Maybe celluloid. Of course we have our requisite thimbles. This is a plastic, but it may be Bakelite. I'm not sure. And then just a little brass thimble. There's just so much to find in these if you keep digging in them, because things will be tucked down into the corner. Here's another tatting shuttle. This one's really nice. Again, I believe this is celluloid. Ooh, beautiful mother of pearl button. See, it's kind of raised. There's the back of it. It just has kind of bent over. That's beautiful button. This is so much fun. Sorry guys, I keep shutting my recording off. I'm trying not to hit things. Here's just, this is out of a needle book. Trying to see what else is tucked in here. And the last thing is this cute little needle book. Oh my goodness, this is so cute. Now this is crocheted. You can see this is crocheted and it's got the ribbon run through it, silk ribbon. And then you open it up and they've actually crocheted around the edges of each of these little pieces of, yes, this is felted wool. But this is just, and it's in really good shape. A lot of times they're worn, full of rusted needles. This doesn't look like it was hardly used because it's in very good shape. So that is that. So that's the 3 antique ones I have, or collectibles, whatever, however you want to call it. I'm trying to put everything away here so I don't lose it, especially in this older one. I have stuff everywhere. So next, which is how I live my life. So next, I wanted to show, this isn't really antique, but it's a sewing box I made many, many, many years ago in 1991, many years ago. This is my first crewel embroidery project. I don't do a lot of crewel embroidery. I do enjoy it, but I don't need another hobby. I don't need another type of thing to do. So when I was in the EGA here it was in Clearwater back in 1991, there was I believe she was in her 80s. I cannot remember her name, that taught this class at Heritage Village, which I believe is in Largo, which it's like they moved, antique or old houses and things into it. So, and they do like demonstrations of stitching and weaving and all these different things. It's just a lot of vintage antique homes. And they've, you can go visit them. They have a lot of kids that come in and visit. They have other things, but she was like a docent there, so we could go in, and she taught us a few classes. So she taught us how to do crewel embroidery. And I never wanted to do it before because I like stitching on linen, and because you have a chart and you follow it, and it's very, you do it this way. And embroidery is kind of free form. I mean, you have your pattern drawn on there, but it may not be perfect, but it is, because everybody's is different. So this is my box. There's my initials, DU. Of course, I've gone back to my maiden name since I got divorced in 2000. Anyway, so this was 1991. So that's the front of the box. And a lot of these patterns, I'm not sure about all of them. One of them I know are from, I believe it's Erica Wilson's embroidery book. Here's the top. I love my little bird. He's so cute. That's the top. Here's the back. This was a lot of fun. Now the finishing isn't that great on it. I love my raccoon, and I actually found him. Oops, looks like he's gotten rubbed. I found, she had it drawn out, but I found this actual pattern. I believe it was in the Erica Wilson book, so I could copy it the way she did, the way it was originally designed. And then on this side, I have a bunny. So my finishing, like I said, is not great. This was like stitched on a piece that was all laid out flat. Actually, I think the pockets were stitched on separately. So anyway, this is, my Velcro's kind of fallen off. Here's the inside of the box. This is lined with fabric. And I actually made a little buttonhole thing. Now you can see my fabric didn't match up, but I made it work. I did a decorative stitch. I also did, it's like buttonhole stitch on each side, I think. And then this is the inside. Here's some felted wool and all my little goodies inside. I've got needles, I've got beads. I was doing some canvas work at that time. So here's some tacks. My sewing box is the same as everybody else's. Oh, I have a needle, one of these thread cutters from Clover. I have some business cards. Oh, okay, it was on a magnet. Here's a Chris's collection of a ruler. I have your basic plastic ruler. This is fun. This is a little thimble that you could, a pin cushion that you wear on your finger. It's got elastic here, so you put that on your finger as a pin cushion. And, the usual, some needles, some tapestry needles, a thread waxer, all that good stuff. So, and a spool of thread, which is obviously going crazy here. I don't even see the spool in here. Maybe it's just some thread hanging out. Hard telling. Oh, there it is. It's on a bobbin. There's some bobbins in here also. So there you go. These are just some, some of the things I have, but this is a more modern one. And I really like this. And it was funny because I wanted written directions on how to put the box together. And the woman teaching us said, oh, you can't write directions on how to put a box together like this. You have to just, be told. Yeah, no. So of course I sat down and wrote directions on how to finish the box, and I still have them somewhere. Eventually I would like to do not a crewel box, but design a box like this, but make it very easy. This is pretty easy to put together. I think it was just tacked. I don't know if I would use the same finishing technique because it's kind of wonky, but anyway, there's one of my sewing boxes. This was, I just love it. It sits in my shelf with all my other antique items, and I love it. There. So that's my antique sewing boxes, or collectibles, or whatever you want to call them. Now I want to talk about, I've been talking about my Mexican sampler. the one I'm reproducing from 1879, and I want to talk about that for a minute. Okay. This is the original sampler. Now it's kind of ugly. It's in really bad shape. I didn't pay a lot for it. I bought this back in the 80s. So it's in rough shape, but I could see the potential in it. So I've reproduced it. It's stitched in wool. This is a 28 count linen. And it's unusual because it's, well, for Mexican samplers, it's all stitched in long arm cross stitch. Anywhere there's a flat stitch, it's stitched in long arm cross. All these flowers, if there's a single stitch or if it's going diagonally or horizontal or vertically, it's cross stitch. And you can see it's kind of, it's in rough shape. A lot of it's missing, but I could do it. I could reproduce it because I could see all the stitches, and the colors have actually held fairly well because it's wool. This is wool. So I have it reproduced. It's very dirty. This looks much different, but it's the same pattern. So all the stitching is done. I'm very excited. It's beautiful. The colors are beautiful. This is stitched with DMC floss, again on 28 count linen. It's all done in long arm cross. If you can see the texture in the stitch, I'm trying to hold it up so get it really close. But I did, in one of my stitch of the month, I taught how to do the long arm cross stitch. And I think I used this band down here as the example. But it was a lot of fun to stitch. It was different. And after finishing this, I started cross stitching something else. And I kept wanting to go into long arm cross whenever I did the any horizontal stitches. But you can see I'm getting ready to finish this. So last night I have all the instructions written out on this, where you go in and you can see, I don't know if you can see, there's a row of threads that have been removed. Can you see that here, there? You can kind of see it there. So you count out so many from the edge and totally remove one of the stitching threads. And that's actually where I'm going to cut it off. And then you count in so many threads and baste a line, count in so many more threads and baste a line. And then this is going to be cut off, and this is going to be folded in toward the front. All this excess will be cut off past this line where I removed, there you can see it, where I removed the one thread. And then it will be hem stitched. And this is really unusual. I've not seen one like this before. It's folded to the front, which again is very different. And it's hem stitched using long arm cross. So I'm really excited about this, trying to do this. I'm hoping to start this tonight. Last night I basted all the lines. Tonight I'm going to cut it off. So that's always the scary part. Then fold it in. I have all the directions written out. I wrote them, so they're very good, of course. And I'm going to fold it all in, and then you baste it down and you baste the fold down and then remove these basting lines and start your long arm cross. So, and I have very large detailed instructions, diagrams on how to work the long arm cross. And even the pattern says the bottom goes this way, then this way, then this way, then this way, because I can tell from which direction she did this. So I'm really excited, and I'm hoping to at least get started on the long arm cross. I would like to have this ready for the retreat I'm going to in 10 days. So, but the instructions are done. I may have to tweak a few things. Everything's done. I just need to get it hem stitched, get a picture of it, I don't know if I'm even going to frame it. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it, but it will be loose like this for now. And people will be able to see my messy back. It's not too bad, but uh, so that is my latest piece. I am, like I said, I'm really excited about this. Now, if you're interested in stitching this, you are, if you don't want to do the long arm cross, you don't have to. This is, it's your piece. If you don't want to hem stitch it, you don't have to. Now the pattern does have, I don't have my pattern with me, but the pattern shows the rows of hem stitching, which actually goes right next to this. So you could just stitch the square around it and frame it, do it any way you want. It's your sampler. Do it, do it the way you want. You do not have to do the exact same thing. When I'm reproducing, I want to reproduce it the way it was done, but you don't have to. It's your sampler. The sampler police are not going to come over and tell you you should have done it that way. And if somebody tries to do that, tell them it's your sampler. So there you go, because that's the way I am. If it's going to make it difficult or not fun to work on, don't do it. Change it, do it your way. Just make sure it looks good, to you. You don't want it messy, but just make it fun, because if it's not fun, you're not going to finish it. I know I have several pieces like that. It's like these, I'm not enjoying this, so I'm not going to stitch it on it anymore. And it just goes somewhere else. So that's my little stitching should be fun speech. Sometimes you have to work your way through things, and then they may become fun. Now, to me, I actually had started this several times and just, it didn't click. I stopped. I just quit doing it. And I actually had somebody else stitch this for me many, many years ago. But I decided I'm going to stitch this. And this time it just clicked in my head. I mean, I'm a pretty experienced stitcher and I was still having problems. I had started this twice before. And this time it just clicked in my head. And there you go. So I would say try it. And then if you try it enough and you really hate it, either stop working on it, put it in timeout for a while, or do it the way you want. If you don't like doing the difficult stitches, don't. Like I said, this should be fun. It should be enjoyable. You don't want to be stressing about something, excuse me, that's a hobby. That should be something you're doing for fun. So again, that's my little speech on stitching. Now I want to go on, and the last thing I want to talk about today, like I said, I've been trying to talk about my antique samplers, and because this is what I love, the antique samplers, the collectibles, all that. So this, I was going through my samplers, and I found this one. It just kind of, I keep them stored in, this is muslin, and they're in acid-free boxes, the ones that aren't framed. So I was going through and I just happened to pull this one out, and I love it. It's just really sweet. Kind of gets a reflection behind it, but it's a very sweet, unfinished sampler. You can see there's a large area here that's open. If you can kind of you can almost see through it. I don't know, I did not do a count on the linen. It's very hard because a lot of the stitches are pretty much the same color. Trying to make sure I'm in the camera here, are the same color as the linen itself. So it's kind of hard to see, but you can see there's a whole row of crowns. There's a lot of crowns. I love this deer down in the corner. Isn't he beautiful? Stag. He has, put a piece of paper behind it and see if that helps. He has there, it's a little better. Still hard to see. He has antlers that come off. And he's all cross stitch. A lot of times they're satin stitch, but he is cross stitch. I don't know, it looks like it was stitched to, looks like it was machine stitched to this piece of striped fabric. And then it was framed that way. You can see where it was nailed to, probably nailed to a board. This is how I bought it. It also looks to me like they cut off the bottom of the sampler. Maybe it wasn't done. There was also some repair work here. You can see there's a spot. Oh my goodness. The initials are EP and the date is 1766. So for the age, this is in pretty good shape. There's not a lot of holes in it. It's mostly cross. Well, there's a lot of eyelet stitches. So this whole alphabet here and this crown, these are all eyelet stitches. This alphabet here is done in marking stitch. So on the front, it's four-sided stitch, and then on the back, it's cross stitch. So four-sided stitch can be reversible if it's done correctly. Now, she wasn't super neat on the back, and that's okay. That's very typical. I don't know if you can see. She did have a lot of threads she carried across the back. Very typical. I have no idea where this is from, but if you think about it, 1766, that's when the United States was still part of England, part of the United Kingdom. And so this is pre-America, which is amazing to me. I'm thinking this just kind of struck me when I pulled it out that I may reproduce this one too. This is, there's a few little, you can see there's a few little eyelets. So obviously something was supposed to be up in this corner. And this looks like maybe it was going to be a crown and was not finished. There's a lot of initials here, and you can see they're joined. They're connected. So they're more like, I don't know, monograms. And I have no idea who stitched this, but I love it. And I'm thinking this may be the next one. Maybe I'll take this with me when I go to the retreat, and I can I can have my laptop sitting there and I can start reproducing this. It's not real complicated. Like I said, it's got eyelet and some four-sided stitch. There are no other stitches on it. The colors are beautiful. And you can see the back is a little bit brighter. Maybe you can't see it. It's hard when you're kind of some bright greens, but the vases on this are beautiful. You can't, there. This is actually like in shades of cream and blue, like a pale blue, ice blue. It's very pretty. And my cute little cherubs up here with the cartouche in the center. But I'm kind of excited about this. So I'm hoping, other people will be too. You can see she started to do, well, this is the ground underneath the deer. There, you can see his antlers and his legs, but it shouldn't be too hard because, like I said, they're all cross stitch other than the little bit of eyelet and the four-sided marking stitch. So, and this, obviously this was, edging was sewn on much later because this is machine sewing and they did not have sewing machines in 1766. So I would say somebody probably cut the bottom off of this and put this little patch in here. There may have been something started there. You can see a little bit of red thread in that patch. But that's the mystery of samplers, that you don't always know, you rarely know the backstory behind them. But that's it. So EP 1766, like I said, I think this is going to be my next reproduction. So let me know what you think about it. But I think this would reproduce quite nicely. You can see, I'm just really looking at it now. This is the fabric, the linen is actually this wide. Both these sides are selvages. So that's why a lot of the samplers are this width, is because that is a finished selvage edge. So that's the widest it could be. Now the top and the bottom obviously were cut off. So there you have it. That's it for FlossTube number 50. Thank you, as always, to everybody who watches and likes and subscribes and comments on my videos. I really appreciate it. Be sure to share any photos of your, you can share any photos you want, especially on the Morning Glory Needleworks Facebook page. I also have the Stitch of the Month Facebook group. So again, if you've not started your Stitch of the Month sampler, this is 2022, 2023, and I just started 2024. So next time I will have a new stitch for you for the Stitch of the Month. And if you're working on the Stitch of the Day, a Stitch a Day sampler, there's a Stitch a Day Facebook group, so be sure to share pictures of that. I had a woman on Etsy contact me and want to know if she could do this in one color. And of course, you can do it however you want. And I told her, I thought if you did this and overdyed in one color, I think it'd be really pretty. So if if you're going to do that, let me know. And I would love to see pictures. I'd love to see when people stitch my designs. It makes me feel really good. So that's it for FlossTube number 50. I can't even believe it's FlossTube number 50. And I can't even believe my next video is going to be on the 1st of February, 2024. This year is like zipping by already, and it just started. So anyway, goodbye, everyone. Thank you again. And I will see you on the 1st of February.